So with the help of activity diagram, what we do is we represent the user activities, as in what will user do throughout the with the solution kind of. Use case is what is the user interaction, what will just with the system, what user can do. And activity diagram is the flow of the sequence of the activity, as in if I am logging in, what will first user do, then what are the various flows, or how, what are the basically user activity that is going to be with your system, right? So that what we represent that with activity diagram. So I will show you an activity diagram and describe each and every component over there.
Nice.
Yeah, can you see that?
Yes.
Let's show you. You have visual, right? So what you do in the visual, you will do something called as UML components, right? Like if you go open here, let me open a visual to show you. Do that. If you see the visual, your first page will be this one, right? Wherein you can select your templates, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
So anyway, we will have basic flowchart, cross-function flowchart, ETL diagrams. We don't need that. What we need is the UML diagrams, right?
Okay.
So select UML diagrams. Click on this create.
So is that the main one that I need to learn as a business analyst, or is that the first one I need to learn?
Yes, this is the first one you can learn, and I will show you what are the various templates we use here, right? So if you see here under UML, there are a lot of other templates as well, wherein you can see the first one as the UML activity, right? There is UML collaborations component. We don't need that much. State, chart, sequence, use case. For use case, we use this template. Okay. For activity diagram, click on US activity. So here you will see all the components needed that you will need to draw the activity diagram. So first is the action state. We will use the action state, we will use the state, we will use decision, right? And then we'll use the swimline and final state, initial state. Basically, these are the various and control flow, how you are going to flow. So that is what. Now, what is decision to make whether various dependent transition, as in what is the decision that you are going to make? What are the things that the decisions basically? What are the conditions? Action state, right? What is action state? What action that user is going to do, right? If I am writing something or entering something, that is the action that user is going to do, right? Or you can define any internal action also if it is going there. State.
Okay, so an action would apply to any person, not just the stakeholders, but anybody at all, any activity. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Not if activity diagram is nothing for the business stakeholder. We will think from a end user perspective and draw this activity diagram. What can end user do with your solution, right? When you are developing any solution or any website, what end user can do with the system, and what are the various control flows that user is going to do. You will have each and every component like login module. For example, when we say that online shopping cart, right? Starting login, what is the login flow that is going to happen, and what are the activities that user can have with login? What is the activity that user can have while searching the product? What are the various activities that user can do while making a payment, right? So everything will be from end user side, not from the business stakeholder. Initial state, what is the initial state before you start, right? For example, when it is a login, we will say, okay, start. This is where we are initial state, and a final state, once the activity is done, then that will be your final state. Swimline, it is like more of an, we will make, it is kind of, it will denote actions, lot of action state in a component or a system kind of, right? If login flow I'm showing here, login will be one streamline wherein I will show only the login flow like this. Let me show you. So these are the various things that we are going to use while the activity diagram. This is a UML diagram. We call it as an UML, right? So if you see, this is something which I did for my project in the industry. So what it is, let me give you a little bit background of what it is. So it's a website, okay? So it's a mobile website wherein user can search our company's related lot of informations. Right? User can log in, user can browse, or user can see that various information. User can search for a keyword and do that. User can submit some online request, right? So I want to show you the login, right? Login flow, right? How login flow will look like. So if you see what I have used here is, I have used the swimline, right? Wherein I want to show the login module, just login flow. What user will do various activities and what we are going to do, right? Starting this thing, we can make a precondition, or you can assume that, okay, my start is user has already browsed the URL. Now once that is there, what is the state that I got it is website displays a landing screen, country and language preference page. That is my page wherein you have to select the country and language and proceed further, right? Now this is action step where user is going to do any action. What does the user does? User select once in the, and user has by default country and language. User selects terms and condition, right? That is an action.
When you say by default, does that mean that the system will automatically pick up the location of the person and make a guess as to what language they want, but then if that's not correct, they can go and toggle down and choose?
Yes, yes. But we don't take the location, what is there. By default, there will be a country and language selected.
Okay, so it's not that they're looking at where you're located.
No.
We're going to choose one. Okay.
Correct. So then user selects not terms and country. User, what you can do, let me correct it. It is not user selects terms and condition. That by default will be shown to the user, but user, after that also user can just go and select the country and language from a drop down, right? But by default we show one. So what is the action state that user does? User selects country and language in a country and language. Then once the user does that, we show a confirmation message to the user saying that, are you okay? You have chosen this country and language, right?
Okay.
Then user is taken to the terms and condition. This is my state. Again, what will be my action state? Action state is nothing but what user is doing, right? User selects terms and condition. So they are here and clicks on continue. Now I have shown a flow here wherein there are two things. Either you can select, if you go to any of the website, they ask you for agreement, right? Either you can select continue or check that and click on continue, or you can have a cancel option, right? I don't want to. I want to cancel it, or I want to continue it, right? So user selects terms and condition and clicks on continue, right? Then if the user does that, we are taking the user to the login screen. You can see the login.
So the terms and conditions, is that for legal purposes to protect the person with the website, or is that just to accept cookies?
No, not to accept cookies.
Okay.
Then user clicks on, if the user clicks on cancel after selecting terms and condition, we are again taking the user to the country and language page, right? Now, once the user clicks in the login screen, user enters the username and password, and we do a validation as in whether it's a valid user or not, right? If it's a valid user, we are taking to the next page. If not, we are showing we are displaying a message on invalid credential, and user is taken back to the will be in the login screen.
So do define a valid user, does that only mean when they have the correct email and password, or does it mean more than that?
Yes, so if when I say valid user, you can simply write if I'm expecting some string or format for an email address, that will be my valid user, as in abc dot us.com or yahoo.com, right? But if I write abc@xyz.com, that is probably a not valid email, valid users, right? That can be one that is one validation that we are doing here, right? So that is one validation, but in also we have another validation wherein we are authenticating the user with a third party, right? So they have their own tool wherein they log in and then they come to our tool. So what we do, we match out the user from our application to that application and then only allow them to log in. So that is also in our case, but as general, if you think from to be very generic, if you think, yes, that is kind of a valid user, right? Just we the correct format. Like if you need to, we define that domain specifically, we will allow only .com, or we allow only this domain basically like .in. .in is basically used in India though. .com, that .net, that kind of thing. We also look for a particular format. That also can be a valid and invalid user. Right. So we go to the next page. This is the, if you see this things, right, there is save data in database and terms and condition in cookies and display error message. This is what I have added this with added this in the activity diagram. Sometimes it's not needed, but just to be for our project, just to show this everything together. I don't want to create another flowchart wherein I will just show that. So I try to add it here, but these are not components of a UML, the activity diagram. If you see this, these are what you can do here. You can go to more shapes and you can go to engineering or business flowchart, or what is this? That's kind of flowchart wherein you just go to a basic flow and you get this kind of right data. So what I have done, I have added this also here, but actually these two are not the components of activity diagram.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that last thing that you said?
This one, like what I said is, I added this flowchart here, right?
Yes.
And added and used the components of flowchart into activity diagram, but these two components which you are seeing in the screen are not the component of activity diagram. I have added that here.
You're saying it's non-competent, the things that you have there? I don't...
Only these two.
Well, what do you mean non-competent? What does that mean?
These components, if you see here, comes under this basic flowchart shapes.
Right.
What I did, I went there to more shapes and added here.
Okay, they're unusual shapes, they're not the basic.
Yes. So what I added it from here.
Okay, so what did these two unusual shapes that you had to go into a different, what do they mean?
See, this is something to do with the data. If you see here, data, this is, if you see here in my left hand side wherein I can show you what you can see here, the various shapes that comes under the basic flowchart also, as in wherein you put the data, what kind of data. So since I'm putting the terms and what I wanted to mean here is, once the user selects the terms and condition, save that value in the cookies of your browser, right? So that is kind of a data which I am going to store. That's why I added this, right, in this shape, just to mean that this is the data which you are going to store it in the cookies, right?
Okay.
And this is something which I showed it in the, which I want to show it in the as a confirmation user. This shape is basically used for showing any message. So I used that as well. Although I could have used, you can use this state action or this thing also here. Where is it?
But the one that shows a message, you got that in the UML?
No, this is, I will show you. What I did. No, not this one. Sorry. This. Basic flowchart.
Sound like you're 100% better. You don't sound sick at all now.
Sorry, I didn't get.
You sound 100% healthy. You don't sound sick.
Yeah, now I'm much better. So, where is my QTP shape? Cross function, where is the basic flowchart? Of reference, wait, let me find out this thing from here, general. Basic shapes. Engine. Oh. Hold on, we need to hold on for some time here.
Whatever you just think about, and then when you find it, you can let me know.
Yeah. That I will let you know. So basically, this is how we. So before it start coming, let me complete. So this is how we show various activity. If you see here, what are the various activity that user doing and what is the resulting state of your action state and the state of the application that is going to have after the user complete that action, and if you see it also may show you the flow. After this user will do that, after that user will do this, right? So this all flow we show it in the activity diagram. You have any question for that?
I don't think so. I'm still thinking about everything you're saying. So it's kind of faded out, your diagram now. It's just showing on my shapes. That's the only thing that's lit up.
Yeah, and it is like not responding mode, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that is the main cursor. My cursor is going round, and it's trying to bring, I'm not sure what happened.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. So, oh man, it came here. It's okay. So this is how we do the activity diagram. What are the various components, right? What is the endpoint? That is what branches, merges, everything. Each component I just keep a note on what are each components do, how we join, right? So that's how we do the activity diagram basically, right? Here it's an example of this example will be little bit what you say. What I feel will be confusing for you, rather than we can show it, you can see this here, how for an online shopping, whenever the user is trying to search or browse an items, what are the various activity or the decision that you can make, right? And then finally, sorry.
Swim diagram, does that mean that there are activities that can be done simultaneously at the same time? Is that what a swim diagram is?
No, I didn't get your question. Can you repeat one second, Devi?
You mentioned earlier about a swim diagram.
Yeah, swim line. Yes.
I'm thinking it's like in a swimming pool, but does that mean it's activities that you can do at the same time, or what is that?
No, what does that mean is, like swimming pool. So if you take that as an example, like it's like, but you can do that as you can show while doing an activity. You can take that swim line for showing a module. If you have seen my steps, right? What it is given is I have taken. If you see here, let me a little bit. See, I have used this swim line to show that okay, these are activities which user is going to do within the login module. You got my point?
No. Okay, you speak very fast, and so I'm trying to figure out with the accent and how fast, and I'm trying to figure out what you're saying, so it takes me a little bit of time.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah, I know where you live, you speak a lot faster. So I'm trying to, figure that out. Okay.
Okay. So what basically we do, you can say that to show one module here. So login is one of the module in my system, right? Wherein we have a login functionality, right? You can take it as a functionality for UML. While when we use this streamline also in the use case for showing the system basically, right? So more or less I can say it's more of a module. If you have 10 modules, you can take one streamline for one module, and within that module, what are the activities that user is going to do? Are you are you clear now? Are you?
And I'll listen. I'll have to go over this and listen to it and look at it closer and understand this. And then since you sent me the activity for tomorrow, like I can look at it ahead of time, and that will help.
Yeah, so basically this is like, if you see here, I have written here, okay, login. Login is one of the functionality in our website. So in login process, what user will do in order to log into the application, right? What are the various flows that user has to go from browsing the website till logging into the application?
What is, okay, the shape that's where it says website displayed landing screen, what does that oval shape mean? I don't see that on the left-hand side.
Sorry, this is the basic shape you were seeing. This is my state.
Oh, okay, that's the action state.
Yes, this is the state and this is the action state. This is the state. Why it is the state only? It is because this is the, action state, what user, what our system displays to the user. Then this is the action state, what you, So these are the various shapes from the UML activity which you drag and drop it and show it. For example, now we can, if now I want to show everything together, right? Like from the menu screen, I have shown only the login here. I could have shown the other activities as well throughout the application as a whole, right? So then, once my login process is completed, I would have gone inside the website and do various activities, right? So then I could have used this streamline. I would have used this streamline and show, okay, this is the home screen wherein user can see all the items. User can go and search this. So various functionality, we use the streamline also here to show, okay, from here user goes to this functionality, then it goes to that functionality. So that's how we do this here.
Looks good.
So here also, if you see what are the view items, then add it to the shopping cart, and this is a simple thing which we have seen only based on more on the decision, right? Browse, found, not found, what you do, made a decision. So what I have done is more in details, right? What exactly user is doing. The more details you put in the diagram, it's more easier it will be for the user to understand. When I say user, it is more from a testing or the testing team who can go through the flow and tell you, right? What are the various things that we a user will be doing into the system, what we user, when we have to show a message to the user, what will user do, what will have to validate, which point we have to validate, what is the next page that we are going to navigate, we are going to show to the user. So in a thing, if you give this, it helps them, right?
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. So if you go in and you get this information from the different stakeholders and customers and this and that, then you agree, everyone meets and they agree that this is the plan we're going to take, these are the steps. Then at that point, do you come back to your office or your computer and start making these diagrams? That's what I'm trying to figure out, at what point you start doing that.
Okay, when we are trying to get the activity diagram, okay, so first, once you get yes with the user use case diagram, right? What is the user activity, user interaction that you are going to have with the system, right? Then what we do, we sit here before writing this thing. Here we take a consultation from dev team as well, right? Okay, so this is the interaction. This is what I am thinking. Let's navigate the user from this landing page to this page, and this is how my flow is going to look like, right? So basically, in the when I say what point, after we are done with business objective model, then we are done with the use cases, we have the business requirements with them, then we go and write this what do you say, this activity diagrams.
Okay.
Because you need the requirements to know, right, what is the requirements. Sometimes business will give you wireframes, right? Business gives the wireframe, right, that this is how I want to go or proceed further, or you write or you draw the wireframes, right? Okay, this is what I as per I understand, okay, this is my website, this is what happens, right? Then once you are done with your what you say, business requirement, basically while doing the system requirements, we do this, right? Because if you see this more from a system point of view, what activity that user is going to do in the systems. So you can do this while writing the SRS.
Okay. You said sometimes they actually give you the diagrams of what they want you to do?
No, they generally will not say you, okay, do this diagram specifically. I don't think any business says that, right? It is we who do this in order to show it to the business, at the same time to the IT teams.
Okay, I didn't think they did, but then I thought a minute ago you said sometimes they do. Okay.
Oh no, they won't be very specific on the diagrams, but yes, while you show this, it's easier for them to go through it, right? And not this, when we do this, we have to show this to the stakeholder as well, right? Hey, this is what the flow will be, what the actions that user is going to do, and this is how user will go inside the applications. Right? But they can say, okay, I need this diagram, can you come up with this sometime, not, I think they can tell you till use case diagram, because they want to see what are the user interaction, because that we will do after initial gathering only in the BRD itself. While we are writing the BRD or while we are going through the BRD, we will do that use case based on that. These are all what we do it in the in the system requirement specification, right? Yeah. So what I will do, Debbie, I will send this to you, right? You can go through it once you get time.
Okay.
So this is another one, which online shopping. Next is the we have seen use case diagram, right? Now we will see use case. Use case is something which we read in Excel or Word, right? Basically, what are the various preconditions you should have in order to have the user interaction. In order to have an interaction with the system, what we write in detail. What are the steps that user is going to do and what response that user should get.
Okay.
This use case is very important. Why we do use cases as well? This use case is very useful for the testing team to write the test cases. Right? Because if you see here, what is the action and what is the result? Right? If you see what is the main template of the use cases. One which we have studied or seen is use case diagram, right? Wherein user interact, just a high level of what user is going to do or user interaction with the system. Here we write in more details. Here basically we will be writing. There will be no diagram for use cases. We already have use case diagram. This is to be very more detailed and specific, as in what we'll give the title first. Actors as in what are the users. For me here is one of the business team user and one is my end user. What is the precondition to do a use case, right? What are the various preconditions? You have to write it here. If you have, you might have preconditions, you might not have preconditions, right?
Okay, so what are some example of preconditions of something that you specifically have done in the past?
Here, if you see the precondition here, I'll let you give me a background of what happens is user has, it's basically a shopping cart basically, right? Now user has selected a product and added to the shopping cart. Now what you do, when you add to the shopping cart, we go and search for the coupons, right? So that while I'm paying the while I'm doing a payment, I will copy paste that particular promo code or discount, which will deduct some of the, which will make my say the price a little bit low, and it will deduct that amount, right? The discount amount, and show you the price, right?
They call that a preconditioning. Preconditioning, really? Okay.
No, this is what I'm giving an example. It means the scenario of what is the use about. Now I'm coming into the preconditions.
Okay.
So my use case is my user has already selected a product and now I am doing the payment. Before payment, how will user add the, user will search the browse, search the deals, or you can say coupon, and proceed to the payment, right? When I'm writing this case for that scenario or that functionality, you need not to write from the beginning, right? Okay, user logged into the system, user has still searched a product, user has selected the product, user has clicked on the shopping cart and add it over there, and then you start your actual scenario, right? So what we do in order we add, so that whole thing which we have already done or user might have already done, we put it in precondition, right? So things like this, in order to proceed for a payment, you cannot just simply go and proceed for the payment, right? You have to do, you have to search a product, you have to add it to the cart, then only you have to go to the payment, right?
Okay.
You cannot simply in the login in any of the online shopping cart, you cannot simply go to the payment option, right? So when I am writing the scenario specifically for the payment and more to add the discount or the deals, what my preconditions will be, as in what the user, in order to have this action, I need some of the steps to be done by the user before they come into my payment stuff, right? How they will come? They might have already selected a product or they might have already added to the shopping cart. So that is my preconditions.
Okay.
Take an example of this. I'm giving an example of login screen. Like even you have seen the activity diagram, right? You have a website. You are first once you log into the application, you got a home page wherein it gives a detail about what is your application, and then you can do various activities wherein you can search product, right? So when I'm writing a use case for a search product functionality, how user can search product and how my system should respond, right? What my preconditions will be? I will not start writing from, okay, user browse the URL, then user enter username and password, then user clicks on login, then user is in the home screen, and then user starts searching the product. What I will do instead is, when I'm writing the use case for searching a product, I will make the precondition as user has valid username and password, right? And user is already in the user has logged in and is in the home screen. Then I will probably start writing the user action and the system response for search functionality.
I'm sorry, search for what?
Search functionality.
Functionality, yes. Okay, functionality, yes.
Yeah, so even in the login, well, when I'm writing the use case for login, my precondition is user must have an internet access, right? Internet, because without internet you cannot browse that website, right? Then that will be my precondition. My user action will be user types in the URL in the browser. My system response will be browser should display the landing page. But my precondition is what? Some condition which needs to be true in order to execute the following steps.
Okay.
Is it a little bit clear now?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually very interesting.
Yes.
Um,
So here if you see what we have written here, user actions. Now my precondition here is user have already selected a product and added to the shopping cart. So first few steps user has done. So they have my thinking the situation is, okay, it's already there in the cart. Now what next user can do, right? Now I have to make a payment. User has to make a payment, but before that, our application is giving some deals or you can think from a promo code, right, or discount which user can browse and add, right? For if they have, this daily deals or the promo code is available for that product. So my action is user browses the daily deals and click on add to cart button for corresponding to that product. So whatever the user has selected a product, what user did in the application itself, user can browse basically for the deals. If user get the deals, user will click that add to cart button for that particular deal to that particular product.
okay.
System responses. Our system clears any previous selection to the user and display the shopping cart with the product deal. So whatever the product added, our system should show the user the product with the deal, right, on whatever the user has browsed. So again, while we are writing here, it comes from the requirement itself. It's not something that which we are defining. It's what we are trying to do with the use cases. We are trying to map the user action to the system response.
Okay.
So when I say you will already have the requirements where you will do what, that time only you will have all these requirements. Again, this is a part of your system requirement specification, right? What is there and what needs to be there. What will be the action? What if the user clicks on this button, where the user should be taken? How the system should respond, right? Now user enters the coupon number at the screen if coupon redemption is available for the particular deal, as I said, right? So Livewire is a third party tool which we have used for our product, means our application, wherein we are sending this. Now this is more from a system thing. Now the system takes the coupon, send it to the third party and respond with in the third party why we are sending, in order to validate the coupon basically, and search for the status, whether it is valid or valid price, or if you can still redeem it for that product, right? If you can redeem, then system calculate the tax and everything based on the shipping address, right? Then user clicks on proceed for payment. Then the system displays by which user can pay PayPal or LTG payment gateway. So we have our own payment gateway which we have developed, or you can use a PayPal also for payment gateway.
So if I Google the word Livewire, I'll find out what that is?
Yes, you can go and find out, no problem. And then now these all are actions, right, and the system response. Now alternate path, right? Now alternate path is something what I have executed this part and come to the state. Is there any alternate path instead of going through this to the shopping cart? Is there something else or is there something alternate way where I can go to the payment or view the shopping cart, right? So here it is more from our application thing, JP. So user can view the shopping cart by clicking a cart icon in the home screen. So here in our application, what we have done, we have given in the header that cart option, right? So instead, if you go there and go to the shopping cart and view your shopping cart, you can go directly to the shopping cart and view your products there.
Yes.
Now, after we have the basic course of events and is nothing but your user system response, and then we have the alternate part. Now finally is the post condition. Post condition is what? Post condition is after you have executed the steps, what is the outcome, right? User has done some state, user has done some action, the system has responded accordingly. Now at the end, what is the outcome of having this or user having user executed the steps, and what is the final outcome of this use case? So here my final outcome is user can successfully add product to the shopping cart. Yes, you just a second. Sorry.
It's fine. I understand.
Yeah, so sorry, Devi. So if you see here, so user can apply coupons for on his invoice, which user has browsed and enters the coupon number. User can view the total and subtotal at the shopping cart, right? If you see here, our system is system calculates the tax and show it to the user, right? So these are the various outcome which we are going to show it to the user once user execute these steps.
Okay.
Now, next is exception part. Exception part is if there is going to be any error while doing that, then you put it in the exception path.
Okay. With the exception path is what? If there's going to be any errors?
Yes. So, for example, if I say the coupon number, this is not applicable for any of the product. Whenever the user use this, we have to show an error message to the user. That is going to be my exception path.
So that means it sounds to me like that is something that you'd have to update weekly because the code would change. Is that correct?
Yes, you can. No, it's nothing to do with which one. This exception path you are saying, or whole use cases.
Yeah, I don't understand. If you're saying the exception path, I thought you were saying that, for example, if they said, okay, in November, if you put November, you'll get a 10% discount.
Yes,
but
yes.
But then all of a sudden now it turns to December, so it seems like you got to go back and in the exception path you have to write the word November so they know it's not any good, that code anymore.
Okay, like that. No, that again, maybe we will, if you say that in the December or January, we don't have the discount on that particular promo code or the coupon. Probably when we are writing this use case, we are thinking from that release for that time what it is going to have. If within that release, once business decided that we are going to show, we don't have the coupon code number 1 to 3 and we are going to show an error message, I will write that in that thing. If not, we will just simply mail it, or because once we freeze these use cases, we don't go and update that.
Okay. So can you give me an example of something you would put in the exception path? Could you type something in there?
Here I can. You want me to?
Like instead of saying none, what's an example of something that might go in there?
Okay, probably first thing is the application should error. I'm just giving an example.
Okay. 2345 and
I'm just giving an example as an okay, the number is this. Whenever the user use this, it won't have it won't have any discount.
okay. That's
This
what
is
I'm still not clear because I thought
mm-hmm.
every week, say if the changes, I have to go in and change this every week. You're saying
Yes, that again, if the coupon changes, if you see here, based on our whatever the coupon, that should not be an exception. When I'm writing, probably I have given a list of 10 coupon codes which we have to have it in our app system, right? There, when I'm writing the use case, I might not have any changes. But if user go forward and going forward or in future user changes or business comes that we don't want to have this coupon, probably that will be that we can do it in any of the time, but just making a code change, then it will be kind of change request which they will come up and do that, right? So that, because what we can do it in the future, you cannot write it, or we don't update basically. For what you can do, you can write the same use cases again while you have the change request, but in our organization, or what I do, I don't prefer to do this updating these use cases, right? Because this is a reference, but when initially we have started, this is how we have started, right? And if I am making any change, let's do a new use case and write it instead of updating in the same use cases.
yeah, because it almost seems like, and maybe I'm missing something, but it seems like when you're first doing all this, you're setting it all up. It wouldn't be until the maintenance time, after this is all written and everything develops, then that seems like that's the point. If you I think you call it maintenance. Is that what you call it when you go back and update things? That seems like that's when you would put the exception path. It doesn't seem like you'd have that at the very beginning when you're developing it, because you're writing it, it's all brand new, and whatever code you put in there would apply at the beginning because that's when you're first launching it.
Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't quite, that's why I was trying to figure all that out, because it seems like it would only be when you're after it's all developed and you're maintaining it. Is that the term? I forget what the term was that you showed me. Was that called maintaining it, maintenance, or?
Yes, maintenance support basically. Right? When you are saying that after I have given it in the production and somebody is maintaining my
yes, after everything is written, and like if bank or whatever, then someone's got to continue to take care of it. So
correct.
It seems to me like that's the stage that you'd use the exception path. I'm not understanding.
No. When we say that exception path while writing the use cases, it's more of that. But because we write it before they develop these things, right? Exception path is while writing itself. Is there any exception path we have to see here, or we have to consider for this special case, or it is a special case wherein you have to have the exception path? That kind of thing we write it in this use case. It's not that while maintenance some error might have come, that is going to be my exception path, or no.
Okay.
And then we write the business rule also here. Business rule, yes, this here you can write the business rule, or you might not write the business rule. Business rule we'll get it from the BRD, right? What are the business rule, and we add a few business rule as in what are the option that we are going to give, what are the basically the conditions that user need to do or should have in order to execute this test cases, right? Sorry, not test cases or use cases. So that is called as business rules. What are the various business conditions or system conditions which in order to execute or in order to get to the payment or any functionality, what are the various conditions you need to satisfy, right? So if you see here, tax calculation on the order and total tax should be shown to the customer in checkout. So this is a rule, okay, whenever the user selects anything and add it to the product and go to the checkout or proceed to check payment option, we show that based on the tax calculation and whatever we do, we show it to the, you should be showing it to the users. We are providing an option. What is the option to provide? So these are basically the rules or a condition that you need to have when user is going to execute these actions, right? That we call as business rules.
Okay.
So that's how we write the use cases. So this is a simple Excel which we do basically in a simple Excel use cases, right? There is no as such thing or tool wherein you can write. You just take an Excel, have your this items and write it the user action and what is the system response.
Okay.
Right. You have any question?
I don't think so. I'm thinking about all this.
Okay.
I'm making a change in the one that you just sent me about the error. So
I will send you this. I will send you this. We have updated also few things, and I will add this activity diagram also. This I did not attach that thing into the previous PPT. So I will add that in this PPT and I will send it to you. Fine.
all right. Thank you.
Okay. So now. User story for Agile, user story for this. Okay. Now the use cases what I am showing it here. We write more for a waterfall model, right? But how we write the requirements in Agile, right? How we in Agile, you don't when you are following Agile methodology, right? We don't go for a lot of documentation. It will be a short one-liner, but it will contain everything. So here we write something called as user story. Right? User story is nothing but a high-level definition of your requirement, right? So that we just contain enough information which user can go, user as in our IT teams, user and testing team, development testing team can go and understand the requirement and implement it. In waterfall, what we do, we try to describe or provide information as much as we can, right? But in Agile, it will more like one-liner, right, or one-liner requirement for the developer or the testers, and we call it as a users. So I will show you how user story look like. In user story, if you see here, it gives the story in this form. So while writing story, we always follow kind of format. As a what is the user type of user? What kind of user? If it's a business user, admin users, right?
Say what does Scrum mean?
Sorry, I didn't get you. What are you saying?
SCRUM, Scrum, exactly what does that mean?
Scrum is, again we in Agile we use this methodology as Scrum, right? Agile is a methodology, but whole process what we follow is the Scrum, right? Starting from what the methodology when I showed you, right? In the Agile methodology, how we follow the process or the approach, we call it as a Scrum.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
So we write user story. So when I say user story, you are giving we give a level definition of the requirement, and we have a particular format in which we write the requirement. So whenever you are writing a requirement for Agile, we write it in this form. So this is a universal accepted format in which we write the requirement as in a type of what kind of user that you are going to have for your system, right? I want means this is more of user point. If user is giving you a story, right, kind of, right? I want some goal, as in what are the goals that I'm trying to achieve, and for what reason that I'm trying to achieve this. So when you are putting it in a one liner, you should have these three things in your requirement. Right? Let's say example. So this is format which we generally follow for an agile, in an agile when we write the user story. Right? If you see here, as an e-store customer, I want to be able to search for the product and add them to the cart so that I can buy. Now, when I will break this up as into this format, let me.
As an in-store, where did that go? Okay. As an e-store, oh, e-store, like inner store.
Yes, yes.
For product.
So when you see this JB, fine, I just copy pasted this format here so that I can match it what we have written it. Right? Now, as a type user, what kind of user I am? If you have e-store, or I am more of an online shopping customer. As an e-store customer, what I want in your system, right? I want to be able to, this is my goal, right? What my goal is that I am trying to achieve is I want to be able to search for the product and add them to the cart. So till here it covers my goal, right?
Okay.
Now what is the reason that I am trying to achieve? So that I can buy, right? In order to buy something, right, I need something to search then I can buy. So the reason is I wanted to buy it so that I can buy it, and what are the things that I'm going to buy it, and how I am going to achieve that. I want to be able to search and add for the product and add them to the.
Okay.
So this is how we write a user story in the in form of an event we are following that. But when we write the same the waterfall, we would have described more, right? Okay, for the same thing in waterfall, I would have written like the user should be able to search for the product. The user should be able to add them to the cart, right? When viewing that, user should be able to search the product. Is it actually, yes, that like
small e and that. I just want to make sure. Or
yes.
A dash and like a dash in between it.
I think probably it's more appropriate to show this thing, e-store customer, right?
Okay.
Sorry.
Just a dash in between. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yes. So this is how we write the user story. I have given the requirement, but what is the acceptance criteria? We write acceptance criteria in order for the testing team to test this. If you remember, I said when we write the requirement, we want to make sure it is very specific. It should be testable as well, right? Now, for Agile, we are writing this as a one requirement. There should be some testable components in my requirement through which my testing team will be testing, right? Or when in Agile we have called a product manager who is sitting with us. They are more as an act as a business sponsor or a business client. So they might have some rules when they want to accept that particular requirements. Now, what is acceptance criteria?
Okay, I've got a question on the acceptance criteria. Is that something that you're writing for the IT to write, or to program, or is that meaning strictly what you have to test as a BA to make sure it's correct?
Yeah, it is BA and the product, we call in Agile, we call it product managers. We sit with them, basically the business users or the business client, and write this acceptance criteria along with them and give it to the IT teams. Okay, these are the various scenarios you have to cover. When I am able to search, what happens after that?
Okay.
I am giving option to the user to search, but in the search, when they are searching, your application should behave like this, right? If item exists, it is found on searching. That means whenever I'm searching a product, if whatever the product is there, if it is there in our system or we are providing that, it should be shown to the user, right?
Okay.
If desired item is not found, that means whatever the users or the customer is trying to search, right? If not found, don't stop the customer there and search again. As in, for example, I am searching ABC, this is not there, we show no result found, right? If not, user should be able to search with the, I should be able to BCD, right? That is another acceptance criteria we can put. If viewed item found on searching, it can be selected and viewed. Now, whenever I'm searching and I got the product in the list of product that is available for me to buy, I should be able to select that product and view the details of it, right? That is another acceptance criteria. Item is added to shopping cart if customer want, right? If I want, after viewing that and click on, or say for example there is an option to add to the shopping cart, I should be able to do that, right? So these are the various acceptance criteria that we see from a business perspective or a system perspective. When we take this user story and acceptance criteria to the dev team and testing team, they also can add their own acceptance criteria. When I say their own acceptance criteria, for dev team it might be more from a code implementation side, and for testing team they might come and say, hey, I want this to be added as an acceptance criteria because when I'm testing it, I will test this scenario as well and I will want to add this. So can you add this? That also can happen, but initial level, what we as a business analyst see or want to have more from a functionality, we will add this and take it up to the respective teams. You have any question, Debbie?
No, I've just got a lot I'm thinking about. I mean, I'm certainly learning a lot. You know, I don't have it. I can't just look at it one time and master it. You know, I've got to look, and you know, I'm not leaving town tomorrow, so I'm going to really get this going and get caught up and everything. So, are you also sending me homework to do, or like?
Homework, what I will suggest you, if you can, probably I will ask you to, you have visual, you can try with business objective model, use cases, activity diagram, and I know you, in one day it is not possible for you to finish it up, but you can start at least drawing that, because I think you already sent me the requirements, right? Functional and business requirement.
Yeah, but I think I got it jumbled a little bit. I mean, you know, yeah, I was having problems because my mouse, I'm only used to using a mouse, and then I was in the car and it like broke, and then I'm trying to use this stupid pad on my computer anyway. But yeah, so you're saying to put in Visio, make a diagram, a user case, and Visio?
Yes, if you can do that. Today I will send, I think we already have the requirements, or else I will modify your requirements, or I will correct your requirement and I can send you, and based on that you can come up with your use case diagram, which business objective, as in try to think, don't see the system requirements, from the business requirements only try to come up with your business objective model, that you can start doing that.
Okay. Sounds like a good plan.
Right? Yeah. So probably we will stop today, JB, and we'll see tomorrow again.
Yes,
and
I will be ready. Yeah, I ran in here. I haven't even unloaded my car or anything. I literally pulled into my garage real quick, and I opened the door and ran in and plugged in my computer. So, yeah, because I didn't want to miss class. So, all right. Yeah, I don't even know. I gotta find my phone. But yes, I'll be ready tomorrow. I promise.
Okay, no problem. You take care, Debbie.
All right. Thank you so much.